Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Matt. It is the last Monday in April, and this is Disney Planning Insights. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Hopefully the weather's good where you are. We are having some spectacular weather today. It is going to be trash tomorrow, but welcome to spring in Indiana. Pretty common for us here. Like I said in the pre-show, if you were with us, lots of news. We've got a lot going on around the parks. We've got a lot of rumors, which is sometimes my favorite thing to kind of go over is some of the rumors that are coming out around the park. So we've got some rumors. One of the big rumors is, do we have a start date for Disney Starlight, the nighttime parade that's going to be at the Magic Kingdom? I do not think so, but a lot of people are starting to jump on this wagon, even though the park hours don't suggest that it's going to happen that way. But I guess we can hope. Everybody can hope. So yeah, we got that. We've got some news about Disneyland Forward. We got some news. A big, breaking thing today was Tokyo Disney and some of the plans that Oriental released concerning Tokyo Disney today. So yeah, it's a good show tonight. Real quick before we get into the news, let's talk a little bit about the subscriber count. Subscriber count up to 944. Thank you guys all for subscribing. Very much appreciate it. Huge weekend. 11 subscribers over the weekend. Love to see those numbers. Unfortunately, only 2 of you guys made yourself public this week, so I'm going to go ahead and hit those. Eric Budinger, thank you for the subscription over on YouTube. And then CD Santos, thank you for the subscription over on YouTube. Very much appreciate both of you guys subscribing to the channel. Everybody that subscribes, whether you do it in public, in private, whatever. Thank you very much for the subscriptions. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. A lot of you guys are still coming over on that Happily Ever After show that is creeping up on 250,000 views. Or no, it's creeping up on 300,000 views. We're creeping up on 500,000 views as a channel now. It's just crazy to think some of the numbers right now. But very much appreciate all of you guys for hitting that subscribe button, coming back, checking out the content. It means a lot. I want you to understand that it does really mean a lot to me that you guys are doing that. So thank you very much. Housekeeping on the social media side. If you want to find us in other places, you're probably on YouTube or Twitch right now, or somebody has clipped this and put it up somewhere else, but you can find us on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel for the travel side, at DPI Podcast for the podcast side. You can find us on Instagram, Disney Planning Insights. You can find us on Twitter at Disney Insights, or X, or however old you are or want to feel, Twitter X. Whatever. You can find us over on Twitch if you're a Twitch user. If you have that Amazon Prime subscription and just want to drop us a free subscription using Amazon Prime over on Twitch, you can do that. It's Matt_DPI. So lots of places that you can come and check out the show. Lots of places you can go and find our content kind of all over the web. And then if you do want to book a trip through us, the website comes up underneath me quite a bit, but it's patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning, and you can fill out that form to start your trip planning process with the DPI crew. With all those things out of the way, let's get into some news. And like I said, the news this week, it's good news. It's juicy news. And let's start with the biggest and juiciest of it all. New Magic Kingdom fireworks times hint that Disney Starlight Parade debut at Walt Disney World. Okay, so Disney Starlight. Let's just kind of start what Disney Starlight is. Disney Starlight's going to be that new parade, nighttime parade that's going to be at the Magic Kingdom. Think mix between Main Street Magic Electrical Parade and Electric Light Parade, and then the Dream Light Parade at Shanghai. I think it's going to fall in between those two when you talk about complexity of floats, number of lights, that kind of thing. Higher technology, paint the night. Let's put it that way. So we'll go with that. Higher technology, paint the night. So Disney, as the sun sets later and later in Florida, moves their park hours back to accommodate so that the fireworks go off when it's dark, which makes a lot of sense. And on July the 6th, they start the 9:20 move the 9:20 fireworks to 10 o'clock. At least that's what people are saying. I can't see it anywhere on any of the apps right now where they're getting this information. But I can see park hours out to July 7th. And right now the park hours have not changed. And for Disney to do this parade right, they're going to do one before the fireworks, one after the fireworks. They're just going to stick this one as a one and done parade. They'll one coming from Frontierland to Main Street, and then they'll do it again from Main Street back to Frontierland. Okay? So you have two parades. It comes twice. You're going to have to move your close time to at least 11 o'clock. So what everybody's saying is the fireworks are going to 10 o'clock. Well, the close time's still at 10 o'clock, so that doesn't make a lot of sense, because right now fireworks 9:20, close time 10. If you move the fireworks back to 10, you got to move the park closing time back to 11, and they haven't done that yet. And if you don't have time for the second parade. I really, 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 really doubt that they are going to do this parade one and done, especially the first couple of months that it's running. You're going to be in the heart of the summer season. You are going to be wanting to keep people around in your parks. You're going to have the ability to keep people around in your parks. Your parks are going to be at higher capacity. People are going to spend more money. You've got to do it. Robert Sprite, fireworks are awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. So if they're going to add this parade twice, you figure it's probably 40 minutes worth of parade from the time that the first float gets to out the door, and then when it gets back into the Main Street door. So it takes a while. So you've got to account that time too. So if you're talking about a 10 o'clock firework, it's 18 minutes. Even if they start the parade 10 minutes after that, you're looking at 10:30. And then you have, say, a 40-minute parade from start to finish, because these things aren't flying through the park. It doesn't make sense for an 11 o'clock close, unless you're closing the park right at the end of the parade, and then you're looking at an 11:15 close, probably closer to an 11:30 close. You're not getting a midnight close, and you're not getting the extra magic hours after park. So I just don't see how that works. Pixie Hollow. I loved Pixie Hollow. Pixie Hollow in World was awesome as well, and it ended up closing due to the expansion of the Peter Pan queue. So there's a fun fact there if you did not know that. When they added the walkthrough of the Darling House, See, I think Disney's going to do fireworks parade. I think they're going to run the parade twice. So that's kind of, they almost have to at the beginning. If you remember back to Main Street Electric Light Parade, it ran before the fireworks. Then you had the little 10-minute projection show. Then you had the fireworks. Then you had the parade again. Then you had the projection show again at the end of the night. So they did 5 things at the end of the night at the park, and now we're getting fireworks. And when the fireworks are done, you get 20 minutes to try and run to a line and get in it and ride a ride before you leave the park. They just need to they need to rethink their closing. You know, it could be worse. It could be like Disneyland Paris. Hell, Disneyland Paris was fireworks, armed guards. And the guards were pushing you out of the park. They were already clearing the back of the park out during the fireworks. When the fireworks were over, they were at the hub and they were pushing you out. If we ever have Shannon on the show, we'll have to get her to tell that story, because she was freaking out with my firework camera setup. And yeah, it was like I said, it could be worse. It could be worse. So yeah, let's move on here. So really what they're looking at is, this was WDW Magic. They were saying, hey, probably early July for Disney Starlight Parade, based on moving the fireworks. I don't know that moving the move of the fireworks really gives you a good marker on when the parade's going to be. I think when you see the close time get pushed back, I think that's going to be the marker on when you see the parade start. I still think it's going to be later in July, because we aren't seeing a whole lot of testing. We aren't seeing a whole lot of sneak peeks of the floats that you think you would be getting 6 weeks out right now. You think you would start getting some footage of people from the Contemporary seeing this come down Main Street, that kind of stuff. We're not getting any of that yet. I don't think we've got it for at least a couple of months. I'm still putting my bets on July 15th. So, and I'll take the over on July 15th right now. All right, let's talk a little bit about Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones was under refurbishment at Disneyland for quite a while, and then didn't hit the reopen date. Reopened on the 25th, which was Friday, and then it was a 5-week refurbishment. No major changes to the ride, just small fixes throughout. Yeah, great ride. If you've ridden Dinosaur, you've ridden Indiana Jones. It just has different scenery. It's the same track layout. The vehicles move the exact same way. It's just different scenery. What we have been promised at Walt Disney World is when they redo Dinosaur to Indiana Jones, that it will be a different experience than the one that is in Disneyland currently, which I look forward to. I mean, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So, really, really looking forward to the change from Dinosaur. We're going to get one more ride in on Dinosaur, maybe 2, when we go out to the parks this summer. But hopefully we can get some footage on Dinosaur. At least some clippable stuff that makes sense. This VI pass holder summer days. This is the worst marketing, because you look at it and it looks like it says VIP ass holders. Why? May 14th through July 31st. Pass holder deals. 40% off food, non-alcoholic beverages at select table service restaurants across Walt Disney World. VIP savings will be valid May 14th through June 30th at Hollywood and Vine, Tusker House, Toledo, Boatwright, Cape May Cafe. Then, July 1st through the 31st, you're going to get the Diamond Horseshoe, Whispering Canyon Cafe, Tiffin's, Coral Reef, and Ale and Compass for breakfast and lunch only. You can't get Ale and Compass at dinner. Sorry, you can't get a steak. They aren't going to be that nice. I mean, come on. What do you think? You're going to get the VIP Pass Holder Lounge. And it looks like it's going to be over in the Morocco Pavilion this year. So you get a special Pass Holder Lounge for it. So, yeah. So, VIP pass holder summer days, including the VIP lounge hours and dining discounts. It is going to be May 14th through July 13th for the lounge, and then 40% off dining Monday through Thursday at select restaurants that we just went over on those select dates. So yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Lakeshore Lodge. So Lakeshore Lodge is the old Reflections project. The old Reflections project was something that was kind of a pre-COVID resort hotel idea, and then kind of went away with COVID. Now it kind of came back quietly, and they just keep building and building and building. So this is going to be between Camp Wilderness, Fort Wilderness, the campsites, and Wilderness Lodge, over there across from Discovery Island, kind of southeast of the Contemporary. So if you look out the back of the Contemporary Tower, so towards like the garden wing rooms, you can see Wilderness Lodge, and this is just going to be beyond it down the shoreline. Going to be a relatively big resort, big DVC resort. A couple years until we get an opening on this, but lots going in. A couple of one big tower, and then you're going to have more cabins, more waterfront cabins, a la Copper Creek Villas, right there on that body of water where Discovery Island is. Paint the Night returns on May 16th over at Disneyland. The Frozen Float will return. The Frozen Float was removed in 2018 during the parade's run at California Adventure due to a height restriction, and was replaced by the Incredibles Float. The Incredibles Float will not return for Paint the Night. So, yeah, it's just a difference in where the clearance is at Disneyland versus Disney California Adventure. Yeah, I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World. We've been to Disneyland Paris, and we are planning to go to the Asian parks here in the next couple of years. So, yeah, we have been around. It's interesting, the differences between the parks too. You know, we've talked in past episodes about the differences between the parks. I really like how Disneyland is laid out. It just feels more intimate, a more intimate experience, where World feels like they had all this land and decided to use as much as they could. So everything feels a little bit more spread out, and it feels like you can put more people at World comfortably than you can at Land. But yeah, no, it's both parks, lots of cool merit for both parks. Let's talk a little bit about ticket prices. So, booking window opened up last week for 2026 vacation packages. In all, you know, we got the normal nickel and dime rises, but really where we saw some of the bigger rises were on the peak day, single day ticket prices. And, you know, at some of the lesser parks as well. So like Epcot and Hollywood Studios got relatively large increases for the highest price single day ticket. So Disney does do kind of like capacity driven pricing. If they feel like a day is going to be more popular than another day, they make it more expensive. So on their high end ticket prices, Hollywood Studios and Epcot are now kind of creeping up on $200 per person per day for a single day ticket at those parks. Where the single day ticket on the low end, for a park like Animal Kingdom is still in that $119 range. So we're talking about like an $80 difference between low-end day at Animal Kingdom and high-end day at Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom now. Those are pretty big price discrepancies. Now, one thing that you can do to kind of limit that a little bit is multi-day tickets, especially once you get to days 5 and 6. If you want to take a long vacation, financially, it makes a lot of sense because it knocks down that average ticket price quite a bit. Do you pay more for a 6-day ticket than you do a 5-day ticket? Yes. But the 6-day, a lot of times, is like $30 per person. And a lot of times that's worth that extra day if you look at moving flights or something like that. The difference between flying out on a Sunday and a Monday and stuff like that. So always, work with your travel agent and look at different ways to build your packages, because there's a lot of ways that they hide that you can save money and still have longer vacations. So definitely work with your agents on that if you are interested in extending your vacations. But yeah, so like I said, low end ticket prices $119 for Animal Kingdom. They're $125.99 for Epcot. Looks like $34.99 for Studios. $134.99 for Magic Kingdom. The high-end prices jumped up about $5 at Magic Kingdom, about $15 at Hollywood Studios, about $15 at Epcot, and about $5 at Animal Kingdom. So yeah. Again, multi-day tickets, multi-day tickets, multi-day tickets, multi-day tickets. And really work on going at non-peak times. I know a lot of people are going with kids, and I understand that. It makes a lot of sense. Sometimes taking kids out of school on a Thursday just makes a lot of sense. What are they really learning? All right. Scott Gustin. I love him. I posted this over on Twitter X, over at the Disney Insights Twitter X page. So Scott Gustin, one of the most reliable news sources in all of Disney, is begging Walt Disney World to bring the Disney Springs drone shows to Animal Kingdom, which is kind of funny. And if you have been a fan of the show and watched the show for a while, Peter and I talked about this about a year ago when they started talking about the Disney Springs drone show. So, shortly after we got back from Paris, so we went to Paris in 2023, so it's been 2 years now, and saw the drone show there. The company called Dronezios was the ones that did the show over there. And shortly after they did that show, it was announced that they were building a location in Orlando, Florida. Surprise. I mean, you follow the breadcrumbs, you follow the money. Build the location in Orlando. So I reached out to Dronezios after we find out about the location in Orlando, and I was like, Animal Kingdom drone show? And I didn't get a direct response, but I got a very cheeky set of emojis. And I was like, okay, I like this. So shortly after I have that exchange with somebody from Dronezios, they announced the Disney Springs show. And what was explained was the Disney Springs show was a test run with their technology to see how it would work over a period of time with Florida. The climates between Paris and Florida are vastly different. And if you ever went to the show in Disney Springs, the Dreams That Soar, it was a really cute show. It was nothing compared to what they were putting on in Paris. And there was a reason, because if you watch that show, and you can go back, we've got it up on our website, Go back and count how many drones drop out of formation. And, yeah, it just felt like the drones didn't react well to the humidity, to the heat. I don't know what it was. The combination of the two. Flying over water. I don't know what it was, but they didn't like it too much. Now, granted, was it, less than 10 drones a show? I probably would guess that was probably the average, was less than 10 drones a show. But 10 drones a show is 10 drones a show, and if it's lit up and drops out of formation, it looks really bad. So I think what we're seeing right now is the end goal for this show has always been 2027. I think that this show goes hand in hand with the opening of Equatorial Americas. 100%. 100%. I do not doubt that one iota. But we've got 2 years right now to develop technology. And I would imagine that we're going to see some use of those drones somewhere else between now and then. And I just haven't been able to figure out where it's going to be yet. Now, is Dronezios helping with other parks? I think so. But I think the end goal is the Animal Kingdom show. I think it comes. I think it's a little bit later than we think. I was honestly thinking if Dreams That Soar went really well, you're going to get an Animal Kingdom show maybe summer of this year. And then when they announced the Starlight Parade, I was like, nope, no Animal Kingdom show this year. There's no way they're doing a new parade and a new nighttime show at another park. They're not going to split that crowd. They want as many people at Magic Kingdom at the end of the night as possible. So, we're at least a year out on it. I would say they're going to go ahead and wait until Equatorial Americas opens. And then you'll get a little bit, I bet you D23 next year, they announce the show for Animal Kingdom in 2027. I bet you they're working on it right now for 2027. I would love to see it like a mix between a World of Color 1 and a drone show at Animal Kingdom. You've got the waterway to do it. Just drop them in. I think it's feasible. So, speaking of things that are feasible and not feasible, I want to go back on something I said last week. So last week we had talked a little bit about Magical Express and it coming back and kind of a quick fix. How do you get interest? How do you get ridership into a Magical Express experience? And I had brought up doing a direct-to-park bus. Having one line that was just direct-to-park, and it would just service all 4 parks. It's not like you had a Magic Kingdom bus and an Epcot bus. No, you had one bus that went all the way up into Magic Kingdom, then went to Epcot, then Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, back to the airport. And did that route all day. So I get done with the show, I go down, and post-show I talk about things with Shannon a little bit, some of the news, some of the reaction that she had to some of the things I said. And one of the things that she brought up is, how do you stop guests with luggage from getting on that bus? It's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, you can tell them 1,000 times in line, but how many times do you see people trying to scan their magic bands up at the front thing saying, oh, I got a lightning lane, I know it works, and then they play, I don't know English, when they don't get the answer they want until the person just says, just go. I think you see it too much, and I think that's a headache that they may not want to deal with. So the direct-to-park bus might not be the best idea. Yeah, but I still think Magical Express is something that we are going to get news on before the end of the year. I would imagine it happens before Destination D23. But if it doesn't, it's announced at Destination D23 that it's coming back. So, okay. So, Disney resurrects Star Wars Galactic Star Cruisers Saha for limited time lightsaber training at Disneyland Paris. This was kind of an interesting headline that caught my eye today. And a lot of things jumped off the page today. I mean, holy hell. There was a lot going across the Twitter sphere today. So the Saha, a group of nomadic lightsaber trainers first introduced on the Galactic Star Cruiser, will be headed to Disneyland Paris for a limited time. The announcement was made by Disney this afternoon. From May 4th to May 24th, Disneyland Paris, you can master the art of lightsaber wielding during a new walk-up interactive experience in Discoveryland. This hands-on moment, recommended for children under 10, will reveal the ways of the Force thanks to the knowledge of the Saha. So, this is pretty cool. It's going to be a kid-friendly lightsaber training Discoveryland, Disneyland Paris. So, from May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day. It is going to kind of be a pop-up thing at Paris. I like it. I mean, the more pop-up things, the better. I think that's one thing that Disney has really hurt themselves with since COVID is the lack of street entertainment. You know, it's coming back a little bit, but when you think about some of the street performers that we lost, like the Citizens of Hollywoodland, that kind of stuff, we've lost a lot of that flair to the parks. The unexpected moments, the pulling of a crowd away from the rides a little bit. It's been lost a little bit. That art has been lost a little bit. Good to see some of this stuff coming back. It's at Disneyland Paris, but hopefully it makes its way to a park near you. Let's see if there's anything else that I've missed today. Oh, God. Definitely missed this. We want to talk about Blue Sky Projects. Oriental Land Company. So Oriental Land Company owns Tokyo Disney Resort. Weird kind of relationship with Disney and this Japanese company. But they released early concept art. So Blue Sky Projects. We know Blue Sky Projects. We've been teased by them for the last 5 years. With huge changes to the parks over in Japan. Especially in a few areas. So massive changes to Adventureland and Western Land at Tokyo Disneyland. And then a huge update to Port Discovery at Tokyo Disney Sea. So we're talking about 3 major projects at Tokyo Disneyland. Now remember, Disney is investing billions and billions and billions of dollars into the parks over the next 10 years. With Disneyland Forward, with all the projects that are going on at Walt Disney World, with everything that's going on at Disneyland Paris, and now with this kind of stuff that's starting to pop up at Tokyo Disney. One thing I was worried about a couple weeks ago was what was Disney going to talk about at Destination D23 this year. They're starting to fill in the gaps, okay? Now, what is the big thing that Tokyo Disney is already getting? They are getting a completely reimagined Tomorrowland with a completely updated Space Mountain. What does that do when there might be 3 more major projects going on in that park over the next 10 years? That's crazy to even think about. To have basically 4 lands completely closed, or major parts of 4 lands closed. Whew. 'Cause Disney's, 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 'cause Disney Disney's looking at something and really trying to catch up to it. I don't think they're trying to get out in front of anything. I think they're still playing catch up to Universal. And everybody says, oh, they're not playing catch up to Universal, Epic Universe, blah, 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 blah. They put new lands in and, you know, Galaxy's Edge and all this kind of stuff. Universal opened a brand new freaking park. They're going to be able to swallow up 75,000 people at any given time. How many people can go into Galaxy's Edge at a given time? Let's say it's 1/5 the capacity of Hollywood Studios can fit into Galaxy's Edge, which it's way lower than that. So that puts it at, what, 15,000? Could be in Galaxy's Edge at any given moment. So you're saying that Epic Universe is going to swallow 6 times that amount? Disney misplayed their hand. And now they're trying to figure out how do they bet to win down the road. And it looks like the bets are coming in on Disneyland Forward, on smaller projects, and on major changes to the overseas parks. World, Florida's not getting another park. Disney has made that abundantly clear. And if they announce a new park anytime in the next 10 years, they're out of their freaking mind. They've already lost at that point. Right now, for Disney, it's about survival. Fresh, new, fast. What's the shiny new object that can get people back to their parks as fast as possible? Epic Universe opens in May. The next thing that Disney has ready is in 2 years. Already lost. So, huge changes to Tokyo Disney. Interesting to see what comes out at Destination D23 about that. So right now, Destination D23, what are we looking at? If it's not announced between now and then, probably the return of Magical Express, updates to Villains Land, and possibly a more solid timeline for Villains Land. These changes at Tokyo Disney, possible addition to Disneyland Paris. The Lion King ride is not the only thing that's going in that area. The area where that is going was slated to be a Galaxy's Edge. They're getting at least one more ride, and they're getting a whole area over there too. Now, is it going to be all Lion King themed? I don't think so. They may make it like animal themed and do Lion King and Zootopia and Raya and all kinds of those types of IP in one area. But I think you've got projects starting to develop themselves to a point where now D23, Destination D23 this year could be 4 or 5 clarifications and updates to projects that are sitting out there as kind of sortas. We're working on them, but you really don't know what's going on yet type projects. I think they could shore those up pretty easy. So, all right, let's go here. 5 new posts. There were a lot of posts this afternoon. I just want to see if there is anything new going on that makes sense. Oh, Revenge of the Sith was the second highest grossing film in the nation over the weekend. 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. Got a nationwide release and grossed like 25.2 million or something. Still looking. Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is getting a Wheaties box, so if you collect stuff like that, Wheaties box coming from Thunderbolts. Little Mermaid. Getting that. Geo 82 Adults Only Spaceship Earth Lounge opens June 4th. Menu is up on a lot of different places right now. Blog Mickey's got it up. Magic on Main Street's got it up. Let's see. Mickey Blog. Let's see if Mickey Blog jumps on the same. No. So they're jumping on the same July 6th number. I still don't like that number. They have to... They have to keep the park open to midnight if they're going to do an 11 o'clock parade. They just have to. I think this is just regurgitating of the earlier story. I don't think there's anything new. Grand Floridian Lobby getting all kinds of demo right now for the lobby refresh. Walt Disney World set to put virtual queue in place for their upcoming Star Wars Day merch releasing at Hollywood Studios. Smart idea there. This is Make-A-Wish Week, so 45 years of wish granting in partnership with Make-A-Wish. If you're part of that program, awesome on you. Make-A-Wish is a really good program. Universal Studios. Lego Make and Take activity headed to Walt Disney World and Disneyland. This is happening at all Lego stores. There is a Make and Take Grogu in his pod. One of the little, like, baggy sets, the little under $5 sets. But still, it's going to be fun if you can make it to a Lego store on May the 4th. You can do this activity in store. Opening of the lounge. BDX droids are going to be at Disneyland Paris for Star Wars Day. New Disney on Ice released today if you're into that stuff. Yeah, like I said, lots of little stuff going on, but there were some big things today, and I think that's a huge deal to have some bigger things coming out. We're starting, like I said, to fill up what could possibly be announced at D23. I really feel like that was a huge question mark over the last... since it was announced, and since tickets went on sale. Tickets went on sale earlier this month and sold out day of, in a couple hours. And people didn't even know what the hell that they were going to get. So, at least we're starting to see a possibility of what they could be getting. So, alright. But it's 8 o'clock now, 45 minutes into the show. Thank you guys all for watching, liking. If any of you jumped over and subscribed. Robert Sprite, thank you for the conversation over on YouTube. Very much appreciate it. Anytime that you want to jump on and talk, you are more than welcome to come out and join in the chat. Thank you guys all for the views over on YouTube and Twitch tonight. If you guys are seeing this on the delay, you missed out on a pretty good opener, I'm just going to say. And we're going to continue to roll over the chat goal until we hit it. This bad boy's on the line, so if you are a Lorcana player and want something that's relatively cool, this is a Japanese Madamin legendary dragon. Once we hit that goal, we'll have the drawing, and we'll see who wins it. But past that, thank you guys all for watching, liking, subscribing, sharing, everything that you do. You guys have a wonderful week. Stay safe tomorrow if you're in the Midwest. And we will talk to you next Monday, maybe. We'll see. It might be later next Monday. Just watch the show page. Bye now. No Peter with Princesses and the Mouse. It was just me tonight, but it was a good thing, and we had a lot of fun. Lots of news. Definitely want to check it out. What else do I need to say? If you're looking for us on social media, you can find us in a lot of different places. The easiest is going to be over on Facebook at DPI Podcast for the show page, at PATM Disney Travel for the travel page. If you want the Twitter X, you can find us over there on Disney Insights. We can also be found over on Instagram at Disney Planning Insights. Check it out. I want to thank you guys all for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, following, everything that you do to support the channel. Very much appreciate it week to week.